All right, so now this next phase of this lecture, we'll talk about actually creating the questions. So this is the half workshop, half lecture portion of our class. So in your assignment, and you can see on your assignment, you're required to write 6 questions. One of them will be a demographics question, which can either be open-ended or multiple choice. You will write 5 psychological questions, which will be 1 open-ended, 2 scaled, and 2 multiple choice questions. So let's start with the demographic question, and then I'm going to ask you what's the definition of demographics.
Oh, statistical data relating to the population and particular groups within it.
Okay, so we're looking at general pieces of information about your target audience. And this is what marketers do in order to understand how to target their audience better for persuasion for buying their products. So that's what demographics are. They're not about the topics. They're not about the thing. They're not about the aliens. They're not, about whatever your topic is. It is just about the population so that you can try and understand where they're coming from. So give me some examples, and you may consider some of the surveys you filled out for yourself when they ask demographic questions. What are some of the questions that come out? What are they asking?
Like age.
Age. Okay, gender is another question.
How often you do something?
That will go under psychological, but we'll hold on to that idea because we'll use that later.
Could it be like marital status?
Marital status is a good one.
Maybe what political party they.
Political party. Race, ethnicity. Religious background, level of college education, income, sexual orientation, all of those things fall under demographics, and this can help us understand more about your audience. But you have to be careful that you don't stereotype. So that is where we have to just pay attention. Okay, so let's demonstrate this with an example, like I'm a salesperson. I already forgot the example we were going to use. What?
Shoes.
Okay, all right, so shoes. So I am a shoe salesperson. Well, you're shoe salespeople, let's say. And we have a demographic, so we're going to target a certain audience. And it's going to be a 16-year-old female. And let's say she works a part-time job. So she works part-time and brings in $100 a month from her part-time job. What kind of shoes or pair of shoes would we sell to the 16-year-old female?
Cheap. Yeah, inexpensive shoes.
Okay, so let's describe this and also consider this is a 16-year-old female. What are they? What if you were in the mind of a 16-year-old female? Would you want for a pair of shoes?
Boots that go with everything. You don't have to wear much.
Okay, so maybe boots that go with everything.
Sandals.
Yeah, some sandals.
Sandals. Okay, what would be on those sandals? What would she like? So we have rhinestones. Is that an agreement? Is that what 16-year-old females like?
I think it's Skittles.
Never been there.
Certainly we have the influence of young people in our lives. What about the price? What would be realistic?
10 to 25.
I would say like 50 because their parents pay for a lot of their stuff at age 16.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say 10 to 25, but maybe up to 50 if there's some parental help. Okay. So let's change this demographic. Okay, now we have a 55-year-old male who is married, works full-time, makes $150,000 a year. All right, now that changes. Okay, now what are we gonna do? Now what are we gonna suggest as shoe salespeople?
I feel like he wears socks and sandals. Maybe some dress
Dress.
shoes.
Dress shoes.
Like, what do we consider more expensive shoes?
Dress shoes.
Just shoes $150.
Alligator shoes?
Depends where you work. Yeah. I don't know what he does. He might be a farmer. He might want cowboy boots. He might. Farmers
Probably,
make a lot of
you
money.
know, I don't know if it's that high.
What, a big farm for farmers?
Yeah, that's pretty high for a farmer. Maybe not, okay.
Don, what do you know?
He could be like someone that works on an oil thing. They make a lot of money. They might not want to buy the nice shoes because they get oil.
Okay, so one option was dress shoes. The other option is what? Depending on
Dress your tennis shoes.
Tennis
Do like
shoes.
a practical
Boots.
shoe. Practical.
Cowboy boots.
That you can.
boots, or like nice tennis shoes. The yacht shoes. All right, what kind of price range are we looking at?
Say like 150 to 200. Yeah.
150 to 300. Wow, look at that difference right there. Okay, now does that mean that every 16-year-old's going to want rhinestones in her shoes? Okay, does that mean that every 55-year-old male in this income is going to want yacht shoes? No, but this is how we look at demographics. Okay, you're going to ask one demographic question. So let's just go ahead and take the time. I'm going to have you shut off the video and